Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Lexi and I'm super happy to have you here. Today I'm doing one of my most requested videos, actually probably my most requested video. So I'm answering all of the questions that you guys submitted to me about the influencer business, how to pitch to brands, what to charge, how much money we make, how much money you can make, how to grow your following, how to have an aesthetic feed. Every single question that you submitted, I will be answering in this video. I already have it all written out. It's like 20 pages long. So if you think that I'm not gonna get to your question, I promise I will. So make sure you keep watching through the whole video. Also, I do want to note that before I get started on sharing different tips with you guys, I don't know everything. Everybody's journey is different, but I'm gonna share the tips that I wish I knew before I started mine and things that I think could help you guys. I'm just sharing these tips all based off of my own experience and things that have helped me. But before I get into it and start answering all the questions, if you guys are liking this video so far and you think you like me and might wanna see more of me later on or wanna see more advice videos like this, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you get notified every time a new video comes out. I love doing these videos and helping you guys, so there will definitely be more in the future. Okay, sorry, I'm reading from my computer, so that's why I'm looking down, if you catch me looking down a lot. Okay, how do you get started with a small following? Okay, you just have to start. Just start posting even if you don't know what the heck you're doing. Honestly, we all start somewhere, and when I started, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no long-term goal. It's like trial and error, you know, and I feel like everybody starts out on different apps that way. Like, I feel like that's what TikTok is to me right now. I'm just still doing trial and error on there. Like, you have to just put yourself out there and try. If you don't try and you have this idea that you're gonna get it perfect on the first shot, like, you'll never get to where you wanna be because you'll be so concerned, am I doing it right, am I doing it right? You just have to start putting things out there and see what sticks, and whatever sticks, just keep going with that and you'll learn along the way. Honestly, with Instagram, it's always changing. I feel like I'm still learning things at times, so don't put so much pressure on yourself. If it's something that you think about every day and you're like, God, I wanna do that so bad, then just do it. You have to just jump right into it. The how part of that question, I'll get more into how to do that throughout the video. Okay, how did you grow your IG? I haven't gained in years. There are a few different things you gotta ask yourself. Are you adding value? Adding value could be like, is it funny? Is it motivational, inspirational? Is it very aesthetic? Are you ahead of the trends so people follow you to see the trends? Are you you know, a daily dose of positivity? Are you sharing health and fitness tips? Like, you need to make sure that everything that you're posting adds value in some type of way, or most things that you're posting. Obviously, sometimes I'll take a picture of the sky and post it, but I'll get into why I do that later. And then the next tip I would say is don't over promote or overshare content, mediocre content. If you think you just have to post twice a day and it can be anything, don't do that, because you'll probably lose people, or you just won't be gaining, because when people go and click on your page, when they do see you on the explore page, they'll be like, nah. You know what I mean? You want to put your best foot forward, and obviously don't overthink it to the point where you're like, oh, I can't put this out there, it's not A+ or 100% perfect. But just make sure that you're not throwing too much out there every day. You don't want to post like a million times a day with no strategy in mind, like, or do 50 stories a day of you just like looking at the camera, like being like, you have to make sure you're adding value and it's good content for other people. Like, take yourself out of it and make it not about you, make it about your audience. So what do they want to see, and make sure you do that. Stay consistent with the type of content you post. So if you see that your audience is responding really well to a certain type of post or aesthetic or style of content, keep doing that. Stick to whatever is working for you. Fully commit to that content 110% and just ride the wave, and then you'll kind of know. You'll see things. If something you feel like is going to slow down soon, or a season is changing, or maybe you develop another interest, you could slowly transition to another thing. But if you see that something works really well for you, ride that wave. Not only do you want to stay consistent with the type of content that you're posting, but you want to stay consistent with the amount that you're posting. This is something that I've struggled with a lot just because life happens, you know, and sometimes you're not always prepared. I started out by just trying to post 3 times a week, and then it became 5 times a week, and then it became 7 times a week. And then COVID hit, and it was a really hard time for me personally at home. There was just a lot going on, so then I scaled it back, and I saw myself losing followers all of a sudden because I had no posting consistency. I was letting life just come at me, and I was not ready or prepared for every day. So I saw my following and engagement drop when that happened. So that's like proof right there that you need to stay consistent and keep up with it. So whether you're posting every single day or just 3 days a week or posting twice a day, make sure you're always doing that. Make sure that you pick a schedule and you know that it's something that you can keep up with, because if you stop all of a sudden, it's just gonna mess up the momentum that you had going for yourself. And then another way to start growing is engage with your followers. I don't know if this is like a proven thing. I'm not the Instagram algorithm, but personally, I think it really helps to engage with your following and to know your audience, get to know them, see what they want more of, try to understand them. That's the whole point. You should be building a relationship with them. Don't just expect people to like your photos and never, you know, give the love back. I would say it's important to engage with your following. You want to have a tight-knit community. Also engage with other accounts that don't follow you. When I first started, I would spend an hour on the Explore page every day, just going through, liking and commenting on other girls' stuff that I thought might like my page or had a similar aesthetic to me, so that it would catch their attention and then we would follow each other, and yeah, that whole thing. You can also tag repost and inspo accounts in your own posts. You can tag up to 20, I think. And so basically just go through and do your research, go on Instagram and look for the different accounts, I guess, that are reposting aesthetic photos or videos or reels or whatever type of content that you're posting on your page. Look for accounts that would repost you. I write them all down so that every time I post, I can go and tag them. So that could be helpful. That is definitely very helpful and a huge way to grow now, especially if you're not getting on the Explore page. Okay, you could use specific hashtags. I'll get more into that later. And then you could do story shoutouts with other influencers that are around your size. It can be planned, it doesn't have to be planned. Sometimes I just shout out the girls with pages that I love, and if they like my page at the moment, then they'll give the love back and they'll post my page on their story. That's a great way to get exposure with other similar accounts, audiences. So that's another good way to grow, especially if you do that weekly with girls that you like, just reach out and say, hey, do you want to do like a shout out for shout out on stories next week or something, and just see what they say. Are reposts the best way to grow and gain exposure? It's different for everybody. Some people just get on the Explore page and they're lucky like that. But for me, recently, I would say yes, whether it's a repost from a clothing brand or from an INSPO account. It's so helpful to have that, especially from the big accounts, obviously. How long did it take for you to get where you are right now? Did you ever get discouraged? Okay. I started my account in 2017 for fun, and then I decided to take it seriously about a year later. So I've been doing this full time since 2018. I never got discouraged at the beginning because I was just doing it for fun, and it seemed to be easier to grow on Instagram back in the day. But I will say that about 2 years into it, I started getting really discouraged because I saw my account plateau. I got comfortable with the growth that I was seeing, and honestly never get comfortable, always stay ahead of it, because I was like, oh, it'll just keep going like this forever. You have to keep switching it up, just constantly be evolving, and I wasn't evolving at all. So my account plateaued, people got bored, and I got really discouraged. I was just like sitting and not like growing. Not sitting physically, but like I was sitting on my certain number of followers for like 1.5 to 2 years, and I couldn't figure out why. And then like I started like getting all over the place. I was experimenting with different content. That wasn't helping because I wasn't sticking to my brand. So yeah, I've been there. I've gotten really discouraged. I've been there where I've been trying so hard and not seeing results, but I'm telling you, you just have to push through it. Like, it got to a point where I never thought it would end. I thought I was gonna be stuck at a certain spot forever. And then all of a sudden, one day, I started seeing growth again, and I was like, oh my God. You know, so you just have to push through it. It always gets better eventually. You just have to keep pushing through it. And eventually you will get there, I promise. Don't let your negative thoughts get to your head. Okay, I'm done with that rant. How often should you post? Quality versus quantity. Okay, I think it's important to post at least once a day if you can. But if that's not doable for you, then you can try like at least 3 times a week, like I said earlier. And when you get the hang of it, start shooting for like 5 times a week. You can skip like Fridays and Saturdays probably, because I feel like those are the least active days. And eventually maybe you'll get to a point where you want to post twice a day. Like a lot of times I'll post a pretty filler photo and then I'll post a photo myself. and it just helps create an aesthetic feed, which I'll get more into later. But don't put out mediocre content. I would say quality over quantity for sure, and especially make sure that the content is on brand for you. Make sure it's not off brand and you're not just posting like a picture of you and your family and then the rest of your page is like beauty videos. Like, everybody that follows you for the beauty videos, when a picture of you and your dad on vacation pops up, it's gonna be like, what? Like, that is so confusing. People obviously want to get to know you and see you, but maybe start like sharing other things on stories. Don't just post anything and everything on your page for the sake of posting, if that makes sense. Don't get so in your head about making sure that your content is like A+, 100% perfect that you don't post at all. This has happened to me before. I'm such an overthinker, especially when I'm not feeling confident in myself and what I'm putting out. Like, even if you're in that same spot that I was where you're not feeling confident, you could literally stare at a photo all day and be like, go back and forth, be like, which one should I post? Should I post this one or this one? That's paralyzing, and that's not gonna help you with your job. That's not gonna help push you forward, and something I constantly have to remind myself about. Okay, do you use hashtags still? How helpful are they for you with growth? Okay, I don't use hashtags right now currently, but in the winter I did. Sometimes I would get a little boost of growth from them. You have to make sure if you're using hashtags that you're doing very specific ones. If you're wearing a white tank top, you could do hashtag white tank top, hashtag white top, hashtag denim, hashtag low-rise denim, boyfriend jeans. Like, you could do hashtag corset top. It has to be very specific. It can't be like hashtag Instagood or Insta daily or happy or style. Like, it's gonna get hidden in all of the other people using that hashtag, like the 16 million people using that hashtag that day. And also Instagram, I read online, I don't know if this is true, but I read that sometimes if the hashtag has too many uses or search results or whatever, Instagram will actually block your content because they'll think it's spammy. So be specific with your hashtags if you're gonna use them, and don't do more than like 15, I would say. What do you do to gain followers besides making good content? Tag INSPO accounts, do story shout outs with other influencers similar to you, collaborate with brands in exchange for repost on their page. So basically, if a brand won't pay you, don't just say, okay, fine, I'll do it. You can give me clothing in exchange for me posting on my page. Say, okay, but can we also guarantee a repost on your page? Because you don't want to work for free. You want to make sure that you're getting something out of it other than a top, you know, and a lot of brands will agree to that, especially if they like your content. So, and it's also helpful to be seen on other platforms like YouTube and TikTok. YouTube, if you're just starting out, maybe TikTok is the way to go for growth versus YouTube, because I feel like a lot of people right now are having really good luck with having a viral video. Just make sure, this is my mistake, make sure that when your video goes viral that you have other videos that are in the same genre, because my videos are all over the place and I can't pick a niche. It's really just limiting me, but that, I know that's my fault. Like, I can't pick a genre. So, you know, make sure if you're gonna do TikTok, try to do it right. Try to pick a genre, whether it's fashion, workout videos, health, mini daily vlogs, positivity, beauty's a big one, funny comedy skits. Like, just make sure that your page is consistent across the board on TikTok as well as Instagram. That'll definitely help you gain a following. What do I do if the people I interact with don't follow or like me back? I don't know where you're at with your progress on Instagram right now, but it could be because they're bigger influencers that you're interacting with, and maybe they just haven't seen your comments and likes and messages. So try to interact with the people who have a similar size account to you with a similar type of content. Maybe you're just targeting the wrong people. And if people with smaller accounts, you know, if you kind of go to their page and give them some love, they'll probably go check out your page and follow you back if they like your content and they think it's good inspiration for them to have too. Next section, we're gonna talk about money now. We're gonna talk about how much we make, how much I make, how much you can make. We're gonna talk about all of the stuff with the money, and I feel like everybody wants to know about money in this industry. So, and then after we talk about money, we're gonna get to the whole aesthetic part of it, and there are some good questions in there too. So just hold your horses let's get through the money part and then we'll go to the aesthetic. How do you make money on social media? Off the top of my head, there's at least 5 or 6 ways to do this, but let me just say in general, making money on Instagram is all about knowing your audience, okay? So you wanna know what they like, why they follow you, and what they need in their own life. Most people follow me, I feel like, for overall content and style inspo and maybe some hair and skincare. You know what? You tell me why you follow me, because I guess I don't know. My answer is too broad right now. So if you follow me, comment why you follow me. That'd be helpful. So basically, like, I do know that people follow me for fashion and style and outfit ideas. So knowing that, I like to create a lot of reels with outfit ideas and post my outfits on stories all the time, and I can link things and make commission off of it sometimes. Another way I would make money by sharing my outfits is brands would pay me to wear their clothes, or I can also sell the clothes that I have on Poshmark, which is a whole other way to make money. There's so many different ways, and you can use commission platforms like Reward Style and Magic Links, and I have a whole section about that on my first video, talking very in depth about it. So I'll link that in the description if you guys are interested more in hearing about the Like to Know It and Magic Link platforms. Do you reach out to brands? Love your content. Thank you. Love you. Okay. Yes, I reach out to brands all the time. I've never stopped reaching out to brands. You don't have to wait for brands to come to you, no matter what your following is. And you should never stop hustling. You always have to keep going. And if you see a brand that you like, but they haven't contacted you, DM them and ask for the best email to reach out to for a collaboration, and hopefully they get back to you. You could look up the email on LinkedIn maybe, or it could be in their bio a lot of times. Just find a way to contact them. Reach out. It doesn't hurt to reach out at all. You can just introduce yourself with a short and sweet email saying that you would love to be considered for future partnership opportunities, and then that way they'll have you in the back of their mind for when the time is right, for when they have a campaign that you would be a good fit for. And even if they say no, don't get discouraged. The amount of no's that I get, you guys, like, it's just part of the business. It's not personal. Don't take it personally. They could be saying no because maybe they're pausing on gifting or paid opportunities, or maybe their budget is out for this time of year. So don't worry about it. How do you decide how much to charge brands based on your following? How do you decide how much to get paid for a post or partnership? Okay, so when I first started doing this a few years ago, the standard way to charge was $100 per 1,000 followers. So for me, a base would be like $1,600, but then based on my engagement at that time on my last maybe like 10 posts, it would either be raised or lowered if the engagement was struggling. But you also have to take the brand's budget into account and the usage fee into account. That's a whole other thing. Honestly, that's where managers come into play and can be very helpful with. Make sure that if a brand asks to collaborate with you, make sure you read the contract and know that they don't have full usage rights of it, because otherwise they could be blasting the photo of you or the video that you made for them all across the internet, and that's something that you should be getting paid for. You don't want to be the face of a brand if they are not paying you properly for it. When did you start getting paid on Insta? I know girls who were getting paid on Instagram since they had like 5,000 followers for either doing content creation, even just doing a post and getting paid a low amount. My first collaboration, I took on a collab for $50, and that was when I had 40,000 followers. That was not right. That was not right at all. I just didn't know what I was doing, which again is why I'm making the video, so that you guys don't make those same mistakes. It was 2 videos for $50. Like, that's not good. I didn't start getting paid until I had about 40,000 followers. Around 40,000 is when my friend Jamie was like, you know, you can get paid. Like, I'm gonna show you how to get paid, because I was just like, I don't care. Well, thank God I started getting paid, because I was doing so much work for free at first. And you can start getting paid at literally whatever following number you have. Even if it's content creation, if you're putting out amazing content but only have 2,000 followers, the brand would still probably pay you for some content. That's how me and Jamie both started. Did you feel like everyone else was getting work when you weren't at the start? ILY. I lied too. Honestly, I didn't even notice because I was never really in it for the money in the first place. Like, I didn't know too much about this whole industry. I just knew that I liked taking photos and creating pretty aesthetic content. And now I realize how important it is not to let yourself get taken advantage of. But I also think it was almost good that I wasn't comparing myself to how much other girls were getting paid, because I think comparison can really mess up your mindset in this industry, especially because if you have friends and you're looking at, well, they got like this many likes, they got paid this much. Don't worry about it. Just worry about yourself. Just focus on yourself. The money will come. Just make sure that you're learning throughout the process and not getting taken advantage of. I also think that everybody peaks at different times, so don't be like, oh my God, everybody else is getting paid and I'm not. Don't worry about that. Honestly, there have been months, especially this last year during COVID, where my income was way down, and then the next month it was like triple the amount that a normal month for me would be. So it's just, you never really know. You never know when the opportunity is coming. Don't get down on yourself because, you know, in maybe a week or two, all of a sudden, boom, a big opportunity will come for you. How to get paid collabs. Just ask. It's rare to find a brand that is like, hey, we'll pay you exactly your rate at first. A lot of times you'll either be lowballed or they'll say, oh, it's for trade. Will you do a post in exchange for a protein shake or in exchange for a skinny fit tee? No, say no, okay? It costs like $2 to make those tees. Or like, we'll give you a free teeth whitening kit in exchange for a post. No, unless you're like really into that. Or if you are just starting your page, it's good to get some practice in with that, but if you are over 10K, I would probably say no. It's like, I don't know any of your situations personally, so I don't wanna like give too harsh of advice not knowing. If a brand reaches out about a trade collab, just ask if they have budget. It doesn't hurt to ask. And if you really think that you should be getting paid, if you know that they pay your friends, and if you don't really want to do the free work for them, just say that you're prioritizing paid work at this time and you would love to make something work. And hopefully they'll find some room in their budget to make it work with you. How much do you earn from working? It depends on the month and time of year. I get more into this in my first Instagram tips video, how I made over 6 figures when I was 24 and how to make bank on Instagram. It's called something like that. I linked it in the description, so just click on the link in the description and you could hear more about that. But obviously it varies on the month. Not every month is the same. It depends on the collaborations that I have going on, or you know, the income I'm making from YouTube videos, or the income that I'm making from commission or content creation. It's a whole thing, and it just depends. It just depends on the month, but you can definitely make a living off of social media. I started making a living off of it at 40,000 followers. My friend Jamie, she was making a living off of it at like 10,000 followers. She knew what she was doing. She taught me how to do all of this, and so she knew to get paid early on. So, okay, polite price negotiation with clients, how to follow up after pitching work to them. If they lowball you for negotiation, if they lowball you, let them know that you would love to make it work and are willing to meet them halfway. And then if they don't respond in a few days, just say, hi, checking back in on this. Look forward to hearing your thoughts. Just something as simple as that. You don't have to come down harsh and be like, I can't believe you wouldn't pay me. No, you know, just say, hey, I'd really love to make this work with you. Are you willing to meet me halfway? Or are you willing to take down the deliverables a bit so that we can move forward with a collaboration still? How to turn followers into customers, how to get them to buy the products that you're influencing them to. It's important that you genuinely love and use whatever product you're pushing to your audience, because if you don't, and if it's a bad product, you'll lose their trust. Also, if you only share that product once on your page and then never share it again, kind of looks fishy, kind of looks weird, and also people won't remember. People need repetition, right? It's all about repetition and constantly showing something. If you are passionate about a product or a service or something, if you only share it once with your audience, they most likely will be like, what? It's also important, like I said earlier, to know what your audience likes, what they need, what they're interested in, and why they follow you, and why they trust you, and what they trust you with. Was it hard to get people to use your codes for certain brands? I'm just gonna be totally honest. I don't know, because like my main priority isn't commission on sales. Like that's just, honestly, whenever I give my code to my followers, it's for their sake. I don't even ask the brand for commission. I don't really care about that. Like, I'm happy to share the product if I really love it and, you know, just get paid a flat fee, but I don't really like being overly pushy about something to make more sales on that certain product. Yeah, I don't know. It's just never been my way of using the platform, I guess. I don't really know how many people use my codes. I hope that you guys take advantage of the codes because they're just giving you a discount. But what do you do when brands insist on barter collaborations? I think I touched on this a few questions ago, but I either just say, I'll kindly pass on the collab for now because I'm focusing on paid work, or I'll ask if they'd be willing to do a barter or a trade collab in exchange for a repost on their account too, so that, and to be tagged in the post that they use on their account, so that at least I would hopefully gain more exposure from it. But make sure that if you do that with a brand that it's worth it. So make sure that they have good engagement in a similar demographic to your followers. In the rare case, if it's like a designer piece, like a designer bag, I'll do that for free. I'll be like, okay, I might not always do that for free. So if you're a brand watching this right now, like, I don't know if that's still the case, but that has definitely been the case in the past. How do you get brands to sponsor you? This happens all the time. Or sorry, this does not happen all the time. This happens over time. You just have to put in hard work. You have to be consistent. You have to constantly be reaching out. You have to learn, you know, what rates work that you pitch to brands. If you pitch something way too high and you just get a ton of no's, maybe take your rate down a little bit. It's all a learning experience. Brands want to make sure that your branding aligns with theirs. You have the audience demographic that they are trying to reach. So it just has to be like a mutually good fit. Also, if you want more brands to contact you, if you don't have your email in your Instagram bio already, I highly suggest that. That is definitely helpful, so that they can easily find it and they don't have to like, well, I mean, it should be in your bio either way, because I don't know how else they could DM you, but just make sure the email's in your bio. Or you can put yourself out there. If there's a brand you want to work with, like I said earlier, you can DM them and ask them what the best email to reach out to for a collaboration or a partnership is. And if they don't respond to the DM, just say, hi, following up, look forward to hearing from you. How long until I can live off my blog revenue? Again, being totally honest, I don't know. I've always wanted to have a thriving blog, but I am not good with website technology. I'm not good with technology in general, I guess. Really not at all. Like, my friends are like, this is insane that social media is your job and you don't know how to work anything. But that's not the point. The point is, I never really became comfortable with using WordPress. So I never really even hooked up this is insane that social media is your job and you don't know how to work anything, the Google Ads payment system to my blog, because I couldn't figure it out. So I don't know. Content strategy. Okay, my voice is, I don't know what's happening to my voice right now. I like this part. I've never done like a dedicated video on this part, on the aesthetics, but let me know in the comments if you want to hear more about it and see exactly what I do, and I can like show you a screen recording of my whole editing and feed planning process. I think that would be fun because I could literally spend days doing it. Okay. Content strategy, aesthetics, the whole thing. How do you edit photos and where do you get inspiration? I edit my photos using Visco, Lightroom, and then if necessary, I'll use Snapseed or the Retouch app. And then if I need to smooth my skin or like detail a necklace or something, I'll use Facetune with the smoothing and the detail. Put in the comments if you want to see a video on my whole editing process in detail, and I'll do that for you guys next. Okay, content inspo and inspiration wise, I get most of my inspo from Pinterest. I like going on Pinterest over Instagram for that because, like I said, comparison is the worst, especially in this industry. It's really hard. So a lot of times I like to go away from my Instagram, you know, explore page or whatever, because I don't know, it's just too close to home. I like to go on Pinterest. It gives me more out of the box ideas. It gives me better and bigger variety and more creative options, I guess. Pinterest, I think, is just the way to go. The next question is, I create content mostly for feminine viewers. Why do only men follow me? Girl, I had this problem for like 2 years. I think I'm finally getting the hang of it, but yeah, I think, I don't know. I hope I don't speak too soon, knock on wood. Okay, there's no water on me. Okay, yeah, I used to have this problem, and it changed when I started accessorizing my outfits, be more of like a girly style, or wearing things that girls would appreciate, not just things that flattered my figure, as my grandma or mom would say. You know, not just like tight bodycon dresses or like little short shorts, wearing like actually like trendy and aesthetic fits, you know, like this like chunky Chanel necklace, or like, you know, the bangs. Like, I know, I feel like sometimes guys don't think bangs are that hot, but like it's like a fun trend, you know what I mean? So just start trying to dress more to appeal to girls. Like, put more effort into planning out the little details of your outfits, like, you know, the rings, the necklaces, the earrings, the body chains, like the type of shoes, the matching bag, like just like the hat, the headbands, like all of that stuff. If you do all of those little details and make sure you don't miss that, and don't just end up posting in like a skimpy little crop top and a mini skirt, then you'll get more female followers. How to create bomb posts with a basic camera phone. All of my pics over the past 8 months, 9 months maybe now, have been on my iPhone only. I'm not saying that my posts are bomb, but I assume that you're asking me this because you like my posts. I don't know, but it's not about the phone versus the camera necessarily for photos. It's like, it's more so about the lighting and the composition and the angles. That's, I think, what matters most. Personally for me, I noticed that my iPhone photos have been performing better, but a lot of people like the iPhone style content right now. They like the more casual looking content. The big DSLR expensive camera was kind of like what was trending in 2018, where you would see those like gorgeous travel shots and stuff. People seem to like to see iPhone shots now, but if you're not seeing the same results with your audience, then try out a DSLR camera. It couldn't hurt to. If I'm being helpful so far, if you guys are learning a lot from me, it would really mean so much if you gave this video a thumbs up. You don't have to, but it would mean a lot. Moving on to the next one. How do you find such cute places? I'm always keeping an eye out for places that would match my aesthetic, or the aesthetic that I'm going for the upcoming season. Like, you know, fall is coming, I'll see something like a little darker or fall-y, and I'll be like, that'll be so pretty in the fall. And I'll just mark it on my Google Maps or on my maps. You can like basically pin a location, and then you can name it like pretty for sunset fall or something like that. I can show more in another video on that whole process. It also helps to travel, especially when you're feeling like you're in a rut with inspiration or creativity, because when you're seeing new things and you're like hungry for inspiration, it's like everything is amazing. How much time does the shoot take? Okay, one look will take me anywhere from 30 minutes to over an hour. It just depends on how lucky I'm getting with the shot. It depends on the time of day, how easy it is to find good lighting. So if I shoot with my boyfriend Alex, he's not the most patient. Most boys aren't, I feel like. So he will get pretty antsy and frustrated if I keep going longer than 15 minutes. But if I'm shooting with my best friend Jamie, we will do anything to get the shot. Even if it takes us like 2 hours, we will go from location to location until we find the best light, until we find the it shot. So I do find that when I take my time, I typically always get the shot versus when I'm just rushing to get it done. Sometimes I get lucky, and sometimes it's just, I have to redo it another day. So definitely give yourself enough time, especially in the beginning when you're trying to get the hang of it. And if you don't have anybody that would be patient with you, like it is when I shoot with Jamie, I highly recommend getting a tripod and a clicker. I'll link the ones that I use in the description. It's been a game changer, especially like you can literally just go into like a grassy park area or like your backyard, or like you could wake up early for sunrise when there's not a lot of people around, and you could just bring your tripod with you. So many people do it, especially since COVID. So it's like, it can be embarrassing, but you can also find like more private, secluded places to do this in, so that you get the hang of it and don't feel so embarrassed when you first start doing it. How important is an aesthetic and cohesive feed in your opinion? I've gone back and forth on this, and for engagement purposes, I would say individual photos will get higher engagement if it's not all about the aesthetics and it shows more of you and like your personality. But it seems like people won't hit follow as often because when you do get on the explore page and people click on your name and your feed pops up, if it looks like a mess, even though the engagement on that photo is good, if the feed looks like a mess, they probably won't want to follow you. But if the feed looks beautiful and something that they want to see more of, then they're most likely to hit the follow button. So I would say in order to grow, especially at the beginning, it's important to have an aesthetic, cohesive, trendy feed. And that can be any of the trends. There's so many different trends. There's got to be a trend that's fitting for you and something that resonates with you. I'm not saying to like be somebody else or, you know, pretend to be into something that you're not. Like, find a trend that you love and go with it. What do I do if I don't have money for new outfits or anyone to borrow them from? I started out going to Goodwill. You can make outfits out of nothing and, you know, borrow from friends if you can, but if you have nobody to borrow from, Goodwill. Or like any of those like Crossroads if you live in LA, or Portland, I think they have one, or Seattle, I think there's a Crossroads. It's basically you can buy like used designer clothes, or you can choose like a fast fashion store like Zaful, Forever 21, H&M, that have good return policies. And if you don't like it or don't think you're gonna wear it, then you can return it. What does an average workday look like? How many hours do you spend working a week? I don't even keep track because, you guys, from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, I'm working. Even if it's like passively working, I wake up, get on my phone, and I'm like either posting or editing or doing emails or the back end work all day long. And around 8 or 9 p.m. I'll typically put my computer away, but just because my computer is away, I'll still be laying in bed getting my posts ready for the next morning, or going through comments, responding to comments, figuring out my next YouTube video I'm gonna do, doing research, finding inspo, creating a mood board for my next shoot. It's never ending. So you have to make sure that if you're gonna do this job that you really love it. You have to make sure that you're obsessed if you're gonna do this, because if you're not obsessed and if you just want something easy, I don't think this is gonna work for you. It's hard, but like, I would not wanna do anything else. How do you keep an aesthetic? Any advice on this? So much advice on this. This has been a huge focus for me the past few months. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I felt lost with Instagram for about 1.5 years. And recently, this past year, starting in like 2021, I started coming into my own and figuring out what my aesthetic is. A huge thing that helped me stay consistent, because I like a lot of different styles. I like a lot of different things. I can appreciate all the different aesthetics. So when I was shooting every other day and always, you know, throughout the week sending new selects to brands, I found myself one day wanting to wear all black, be like a cool e-girl, and the next day I was like, no, I'm gonna be a prairie girl today. I'm gonna be like a cottage princess. Or like, oh no, I'm gonna be like sporty, or no, I'm gonna like wear like a sexy bikini. I was all over the place. I found that for me, I really needed to do my content in chunks. In March, I started going to LA about once a month. So I would plan out all of my looks for LA or for my trip, and I would make sure that every look had a similar vibe. One of the months I was doing all pastels. I only let myself have like 2 aesthetics that I would like kind of just intermix, and that was like cottagecore, princessy, and like Y2K. There are certain aesthetics that I had to cut off, and I just had to focus on those 2, and that's when I started seeing growth again. Because honestly, if I sat down for 2 days and picked out all of my outfits, I made sure that everything was cohesive. I didn't really allow myself to be in a different mood a week later, create my content for that week that was completely different. So that way I had a full month of content planned out that was 1 or 2 mixed aesthetics, and that really helped with consistency, because once my bag was packed for that trip, there was no going back on the type of outfit or vibe I was gonna put out there. So that was really helpful to me to have that structure, because like I said, my mood is always changing, and what I like is changing day to day. I like so many things. And if you're the same way as me, if you're a little all over the place and you're not that specific and you just generally enjoy everything, I highly suggest having 1 or 2 days a month where you plan out all of your outfits and you don't allow yourself to go back and say, actually, never mind, I wanna be this type of aesthetic, because your feed will look like a mess if you don't have a color palette going, if you don't have an aesthetic that you're sticking to. You want people to think of your style like a certain way. They want to be like, oh, that's such a Lexi outfit, or that's such a Lexi pose. So if you're constantly just turning yourself into all these different characters, you won't see much growth, and that's what was happening to me up until a few months ago. How do you switch an aesthetic? So switching an aesthetic, I've run into this problem before because, like I said, I'll go from one extreme to the other. It needs to be done very subtly and seamlessly. It needs to be sprinkled into your feed a little bit before doing like a drastic switch. I feel like you have to slowly introduce it to your audience. How to stay consistent and plan content. I've tried out so many different things for this, but like I said, what's best for me personally is to go on a trip, stockpile content for the entire month or for a few weeks, as much content as you can get, and just do like multiple in a day so that all the backgrounds are like kind of similar. It's not like 1 second you're in the mountains. It helps when you have similar backgrounds and you have like a similar looking shot but different, and that helps when you're in the same type of scenery for even a week at a time or just a few days, so that your whole feed, all like 9 photos that show up on the feed, are cohesive and consistent. And also that way, if you have all your content stockpiled, some people call it batching content, if you have all of it ready to go, then you won't miss a day of posting. But if you are like, I'm just gonna shoot every other day, then you're relying strictly on your motivation to get up and shoot every other day. You're relying on the weather being good. Where I live, the weather isn't always good, and you're relying on life not getting in the way, which for me, life is always getting in the way. So what I need to do, go on a trip and get all of my content for the next month or something. That's what helps me with staying consistent. How does it feel to maintain that level of confidence and flawlessness every day? I don't, you guys, life isn't always as flawless as it looks online, especially on Instagram. Remember, we all have our own struggles behind the camera, behind the photo that's being taken, and it's not always shown. So, but thank you. That means a lot that you think that, I guess. I definitely have times where I'm doubting myself. Just keep going. Give yourself a break. It's okay to have off days. You think it's important to have a background in marketing to be an influencer? No. No, not at all. And marketing for a company, or what they teach you in college, at least what they taught me in college, it's so different from marketing yourself. Traditional marketing is so different from TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. It's so different from what our generation wants to see online. For example, my mom thinks it is so bad, such a waste of time for me to show up on YouTube not all done up with my hair done and my makeup done and in a cute outfit. She thinks that is a waste. She thinks I'm not putting out the best version of myself into me. I'm like, no, I think it's important to show vulnerability, and it's important to show like your daily life where you're not putting on a show. And you know, she worked in traditional marketing, so it's like, you don't have to have that degree. It's more about, you know, just being authentic and true to yourself and consistent with your branding that you do decide to put out there. Also consistent with the type of content, or whether it's health, fitness, fashion, beauty, positivity, mental health. Next section, can you approach brands with a smaller following? Around how many subs do you need in your opinion minimum? Honestly, I've had a brand approach me when I only had 200 subscribers. So it's definitely like, I think that at any point in your YouTube career, or if you building up your YouTube channel, I think you can definitely approach brands yourself. It never hurts to. You can always reach out and say you'd love to work with them or try out their product in exchange for showing it on your channel. And eventually, when you get to that point of having enough subscribers or views to feel like you can get paid, you can reach back out, say I'd love to discuss a partnership. And even if they say no, that's okay, because at least you're in touch with them now and you're slowly building up that relationship, and hopefully they'll keep you in mind for future opportunities. What do you do if you're getting views but not subscribers? I don't know like what you're doing specifically on your channel right now. It could help to interact with the viewers or the people viewing the video in the comments. It could help to ask them what they want to see from you. So next time you're filming your next video, ask them, what do you guys want to see from me? and hopefully you'll get some answers that'll give you some good ideas that will add value to the people watching your videos, and hopefully then they'll subscribe. It's also good to upload consistently and have a certain time of the week that you do it. They know that they can expect videos from you and they don't just forget about you or unsubscribe or just not subscribe in general because they're not seeing consistency. YouTube takes such a long time to build a following, and you just have to stick with it. If you see traction on a certain type of video, if you see that people seem to like one type of video more than the other, then keep doing that. Just keep doing that and hopefully more people will subscribe over time. Why do YouTubers need managers? Everyone's reasons are probably different, but personally, I think it's helpful to have somebody handle the business side for you. I can get so caught up in my emails that I get nothing else done during the day, and so it's nice to have somebody responding to my emails for me, negotiating on my behalf. I am very easygoing, go with the flow, and if a brand tries to take advantage of me, it's really hard for me to put my foot down sometimes because I'm the type of person that like wants to please everybody. For some people, they can go without having a manager if they're good with managing their time and feel like they can create full time and also be on their emails all the time. For me, not so much. It's hard for me to switch from the creative side to the business side, and so I like having a manager for that reason. Also, it's good to have somebody constantly pitching you when you don't have time to do it for yourself. How do I convince my mom to let me get a TikTok to help me grow my platform? This is so tough because I'm guessing you're young. Your mom might just not understand why you want one. Try your best to explain to her that this is a business now, and there are so many kids, you know, making money from it and growing their brand past college, even past high school, past college, and it can be life-changing for people in a good way, you know. And I think that if you ask her to be there by your side during it and ask her to be involved and explain that this is something that you're passionate about and you want her to, you know, be on board and be encouraging with it, then maybe she will. Honestly, I got into I'm whispering because I'm in my parents' house right now, but I got into this with my parents for like 3 years and they were very not on board with me doing this, and it caused a huge wall in my relationship with them. I resented them for a little bit after because I ended up doing it because I wanted to, even though they weren't approving, and it just sucks. Like, it's always nice to have that support from your family, and I'm guessing you're young and there might be other reasons that she doesn't want you to have a TikTok, but just ask her, hey, would you be okay with it if maybe you're involved with me every step of the way? I know Emma Chamberlain's mom did it with her when she was in high school, and there's a ton of interviews on it if you want to look it up, and maybe you'll get more ideas on how to help convince your mom, but there's a lot of people that do it in high school. I'm embarrassed to try taking this seriously because people in my life are so judgmental. It makes me want to quit when my posts don't do well. Okay, surround yourself with people that support and love you, positive people that just make you happy, and the numbers will have less meaning. You need to remember to push through those bumps in the road. Like I said, I was discouraged for so long. Don't listen to haters, block them out as much as you can. Eventually you'll get past that and you'll start to see momentum again. Hopefully that helps a little. You can DM me if you need more advice on it. Anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope it helped you in some type of way. Please let me know in the comments what you thought. If you want to see more videos like this, feel free to follow me on Instagram. The support would mean a lot, and TikTok. Again, the support would mean a lot, and yeah, I love you guys so much. Have an amazing day. Go outside, enjoy your summer, get to work if you still want to pursue this job. I think it is the best, and it takes a lot of hard work, but you can't give up, and it takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there. So, you know, don't be too hard on yourself. Don't get down on yourself. It's amazing if you're pursuing it in the first place, because it can be scary at times. If I can do it, you can do it. DM me if you guys have any further questions. I would be happy to continue making these videos if you want to send in more questions ever, but love you all. I believe in you. Okay, bye.